Hey streamy people, Draco Magnus here once again for another episode of Let's Stream Angels with Scaly Wings. Oof, it's been a while. Let's see if I remember what happened last time, because it was, I want to say at least a month ago since I was last able to stream. At least that's what it feels like. Let's see, in the last episode, we learned what a shit state the human world is in. We interviewed some people to help the police out with the investigation of the recent murders. And, you know, we hung out with a few people. We hung out with Lorem, so he could get more information on humans for his game. Hung out with Adine and Anna. In this episode, we'll see what we're doing from here. I awoke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world? Or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Oh, someone's at the door. Hey, Draco. And right on the minute, you show up at this time every day, like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I think you can guess why I'm here. Is it Reza again? What happened this time? The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? No, let's go off, Sebastian. Where's this? I don't think we've been here before. We arrived at a place that would look like an ordinary house, had it not been for its extraordinary size. Reminded me more of a hostel than a family home. Well, this is some ominous music. Chief! There you are. Wait, weren't you supposed to be with Emra? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we're nearly done here, so I'll keep it short. Reza broke into the hatchery. The hatchery? There's another murder victim. An employee of the hatchery who was here on night duty. Her body was found quite away from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of distance before it was ultimately over. Wait, I'm confused. Why on earth would Reza go to a hatchery? I mean, I assume it's for, you know, dragon eggs and the like, but... Huh. Loud bangs were heard from an area her body was found, and she has numerous wounds consistent with both the wounds from previous victims and that of the other weapon he has. By this point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Reza's faceless victims. A hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only. It's a council-owned building, and they like keeping everything related to their sector under the same roof. So besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. There are also offices related to the administration of those services. Huh. Yeah, so far I'm not seeing anything that Reza would want here. Why? I mean, maybe if he desperately needs a generator, but what else could possibly be here that would be worth killing someone over? That reminds me of the production facility. It should. They have similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interruption, Chief. Wait a minute. If an orphanage is in there too... There are no other casualties. But Reza got something else when he broke in. A generator, as well as a few eggs. Why, though? I mean, I get the generator, but why the eggs? Basically like stealing a baby from a hospital. I mean, before they're it's more like stealing a zygote, I guess? Huh. Anyway, luckily the power was restored before anything happened to all the other eggs left inside. But needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. No, I'd imagine not. Their children were stolen before they were, like, actually born. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you can tell us. That's why you're here, after all. I don't know. I have no idea what he would even do with them. I mean, aside from make omelets, no, I'm not trying to be cruel here. That's the only thing I can think of that you would use eggs for outside of... Unless he wants to hatch them. But for what reason would he want to hatch dragon babies? I mean, I suppose if we go on like a ultimate evil genius sort of level here, perhaps he wants to hatch dragons, raise them in the human world, and take over that way. But, I mean, I guess that makes some sort of sense, because no one else in the world would have dragons. But at the same time, I mean, that doesn't... I'm not sure if that fits Reiza's MO at all. There's a lot of information I don't seem to have here. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape, and the portal is still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken, though, so I'm not sure if that would be much help. Maybe as the part he needs to repair it, and now he has everything he needs to escape. He could just trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal and leave. That makes sense. Okay, we should probably go with that, or my evil genius theory of trying to raise dragons to make like an army or something in the human world. But since they're sentient, that might be a little hard. He'd have to raise them like actual children, and I don't think Reiza's got the parental skills to do that, you know? That's not the only possibility. He may not be the only one who... Or he may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the eggs as a bargaining chip to get you to repair it. You know, that makes sense too. And there are a lot of options I didn't consider here. If he just wanted to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. Yeah, in the cover of night. It doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Reiza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped defenseless eggs, and even used the human weapon. Something clearly is going on with him. Maybe it means he'll slip up soon. Maybe he's just going insane. He's been cooped up for too long, he's ready to explode! Who knows? Maybe he already has. In any case, we're done here. Let's head back to the department to decide what to do next. Hopefully some of the test results will tell us something. I kind of want to see the inside of the hatchery, although the devastation might be sickening. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initial test results had already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful or new information. So what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Come in. Maverick, what are you doing here? Chief, can I talk to you? Alone? We're quite busy here, Maverick. What is this about? Reiza. Well, you're looking into the Reiza task... you're looking at the Reiza task force, so if you have anything to say, you can say it in front of all of us. I see. I think I know where Reiza is. You know where Reiza is at this very moment? I have good reason to believe that I've located his hideout. He could still be there, or he might have already moved on. Damn, Maverick, tell me everything. I've been tracking him for a while now. When he was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I could triangulate his whereabouts. He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything he's stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on the table and smoothed out a map of the town on its surface. It already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here and here. Today was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the eggs he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. So we've established this as his area of operation. extrapolate it, and we can narrow it down to this. Now, where could he be hiding in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or a hole in the ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure all this out? Just a few minutes ago. When I did... well, why can't I seem to get myself sorted out to read lines forward? Just a few minutes ago, when I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick. This might be it. Should we send an observation team? As if we have one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. Oh, shit, okay. Hang on. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. Ah, that's much better. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Razor right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. You know what? Good for you, Maverick. Keeping yourself in control. Keeping that racism and hatred in check. Good for you. How about you, Draco? Isn't this going to be dangerous? Razor probably won't harm you, as you're the only one he could possibly consider an ally. Good point. If anything, with you here, we might be able to convince him to give up. Or we could act like we intend to trade you for the eggs, if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. You're not really going to use me as ransom, right? We'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing we could do to make this whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the element of surprise. If we walk into his base right now, but we risk Reza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way out, or way to go. I guess we won't need Draco there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Draco, you stay here and wait for further instructions. We may need you at a moment's notice. Don't do anything without telling you... damn it! Without us telling you to, understand? Okay. Alright then, let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick. Good job. Thanks, Chief. Shortly after they vanished, Maverick also turned to leave. Huh, didn't have anything to say to me. Well, I mean, I guess that's good. He didn't have anything negative to say. They got shit to do, so I guess I'll just chill in this office then. Then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now, and if anything new happened, I'd be the first to know. I spent some time looking around Bryce's office, studying all the material he had gathered about the case, though there wasn't any information that I didn't already know. After a few hours, the telephone in his office rang, and not sure whether the call was intended for me or for Bryce, I picked up. Draco? Yes. I think you need to come here. I'll give you the directions. Wow, it's a good thing I picked up then. Part of me think, well, maybe it's not for me. I should. I mean, I guess eventually I'd reason myself into, you know what, I should pick up the phone. Because it could be Bryce trying to contact me. No problem. Oh, it sure is a bright and sunny day. There you are. So what happened? Whole lot of nothing. There was no movement to or from the building in the time we've been watching. He usually operates during the night, so maybe he's just asleep? In that case, it would be best for us to go in before he has a chance to make his escape. Maybe he's not even there anymore. He could have seen us and slipped away unnoticed, with just plenty of time to destroy the evidence while we've been waiting here. You're right, either he's still inside, or he's gone and not coming back. Let's go in. What should I do? You're coming with me. Sebastian, you walk around and watch the back of the building, and just in case he tries to escape. I'm on it, Chief. So we have two options here. The first is that you stay here and I go inside. This way, if Reza tries to flee and sees you, it might throw him off. You might be able to stop him. Or, if we get into a standoff, I can tell him you're here as well. And the second? You go in first, and I follow you. This way, if we find him, Maybe we can resolve this things peacefully. You might be able to talk to him, and even if it doesn't work out, you've got me and Sebastian nearby to stop him. I don't think he's planning to harm you on sight, and if we can hear things starting to go wrong, we might still be able to surprise him. So either way, we take him by surprise. I just have the option of talking to him first. I think you could pull it off. Maybe. If you're there, he won't act as irrationally as he would if I was suddenly standing in front of him. I'm not going to force you if you don't want to do it, though. I'll do it. Alright, let's go. It just seems like the smartest option, really. I mean, if he sees 2 dragons coming in, he's going to be on edge. But if he sees me coming in, be like, okay, there's another human here. Maybe I can relax a bit. Maybe we need to negotiate or something to get him on my side. We slowly made our way to the front door. I took a deep breath and tried to prepare myself for the possibility of facing Reza. The tense scenarios and things I could say to him rushed through my head as I pressed down on the door handle. The door inched open with a creak, but I noticed a slight resistance and a strange sound that made me hesitate. Man, this place is really beat up. It looks so nice from the outside. Oh. When I looked down the source of the noise, I saw the taut wire through the gap in the door, hovering over the floor to the entryway. That was a pretty close call, you know. Too bad Reza wasn't here after all. Maybe he ran when he saw us approach. Strange for him to leave everything behind, though. Everything he's stolen, all the generators are still here. Think the trap was for us in particular? Probably not. It was likely more of a general safety precaution. If he had any time to prepare for this, he would have taken all the stuff with him. True enough. I had no idea you could make a bomb out of a generator. Huh. So it was an explosive. Then you just haven't been with us long enough. If you know how, it's not even that complicated. And Reza somehow figured it out? Apparently so. Does he have any skills pertaining to engineering or electricity? Does he? Well, he's worked on cars before, and he fixes a lot of things back home. I guess that would qualify? He could also have done his own research. That's true. Either way, this makes him even more dangerous. At least now we have a whole building's worth of clues. Draco, can you get to your apartment from here? We'll be busy with the scene for a while. No problem. I'll leave you to your work then. Good job, Draco. Thanks. Man, imagine if it was Bryce who came in. He'd probably get super injured from the bomb. I'm surprised you called me back so quickly. How's the investigation going? Oh, the investigation is going swimmingly, but as you can expect, we need all the help we can get. As usual. With how this case has been going, we've realized we must employ external help. Oh? Yeah, we've requested assistance from one of the cities. We hope they'll send some good investigators our way soon. I see. We're so close today. You could have been in there, you know? Maybe we just came a few minutes too late. And if he knows how to make bombs from generators, who's to say he won't start using them elsewhere? At least he doesn't have any right now, does he? You said all the generators that were stolen are now accounted for. True. Still, this whole case is growing to be too much for a small-town police department. I hope you'll get all the help you need. Gee, I wonder if the Dragon FBI is going to come in. Me too. But right now, you can help us again. Well, what do you have for me? When we searched the building, we found more than the things Reza stole. We also found this bloody bandage. Do you think that's his? That's what we need to find out, but given all that we know, it probably is. So he's wounded. We know he was injured during the fight with his first victim, but whether this is from the same wound or something else, I'm not sure. In any case, could you bring it to the lab for us to find out more? Sure. Next, we have a witness who reported hearing loud bangs during the night. We'd like to send someone to make a follow-up visit. You need to confirm the witness's statement, then see if he has anything new to share. Also, now that we've reclaimed your PDAs, we're going to send one to the archives for analysis. Since they have experience with human artifacts, they're better suited to do it than any of our departments. No problem. And lastly, we have the eggs. It's a relief that we found them unharmed in the building. They're safe and ready to be sent back to the hatchery. Well, that's good at least. Shouldn't we take care of those first? It's not as urgent as you might think. Our eggs are pretty resilient. Being in the care of the hatchery is more of an insurance than a requirement. So dragon eggs are sturdy. That's good to know. Maybe Reza was testing how durable eggs are, but I don't see a reason for that either. Some people choose to keep them in their own home until they hatch, rather than having the hatchery take care of it. The hatchery's been notified, but they won't be able to send someone for a few hours. I've heard that they're still really understaffed. If you bring the eggs and the paperwork to them, you'll speed up the process, but it's not an urgent matter. I see. In any case, I'll just leave everything here until I get to it, so feel free to do these tasks as you wish. I know it's laughable that we don't even have a free hand for simple errands. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm cool with doing simple tasks, but, you know, you're a little understaffed yourself here. By the way, are you planning to attend the summer festival? There's a summer festival? Should I? It's hard to think that about something fun when I'm wrapped up in this investigation. For sure. It's important to take a short rest so you don't lose your head. There's so much to see at the festival, particularly the big fireworks. Dragons enjoy fireworks too. I would think something like that would feel so commonplace since many of you breathe fire. It's not quite the same. We still appreciate the wonder and colorful bursts in the sky. On the last day, there's always a big fireworks show. Everyone usually attends it. Everyone? Yes, it has a great tradition behind it. What peeves me most is that I'll be on guard duty when it happens this year, so I probably won't be able to see a thing. I'll be sure not to miss it then. Anyways, I should get back to the investigation now. I'll leave the stuff for you here, and I'll take care of the rest once I get back, alright? Sure thing. Good luck, Draco. You too. Alright, so I got 3 things to do. I could take bandage to the facility, visit the witness, take the PDA to the library, or take the eggs to the hatchery. Well, the eggs to the hatchery, like you said, that's just a sort of, you know, offhanded thing. They should be fine for now. I'll take the bandage to the facility because that's something that's important to get done as soon as possible. When I approached Anna's lab, I saw her sitting on the hallway floor, the door to her lab wide open. Hey, Anna. Oh, it's you. What's going on here? The police came and raided the place. What? Why? It's a long story, and I'm not going to tell it now. Is it bad? I don't know yet. I'm not sure how they expect me to work in these conditions, considering I get assignments from the council and the police. And then they both turn around and mess up the place as if it's part of their job. It doesn't make sense to me. Someone's going to hear about this, and there will be consequences, I can tell you that. Anyways, what did you want? I'm here to drop this off for you, courtesy of the police. That's what I'm talking about. Mess my place, then ask for my help. Something isn't right here, and I'll get to the bottom of this. What is it, anyway? I'm sorry, it's a bloody bandage for analysis. It's related to the Reza investigation. Alright, then I'll take it. Not for the police department's sake, but for yours. Don't let me hold you up. I'm sure you have places to be. Well, see you then. Yeah. Jeez, now she's got even more stress on top of her. I could visit a witness, or I could take the PDA to the library next. I was told to drop off the PDA. Do I only get 2 things to do, or do I have 3 things to do? Because if I have 3 things, I'm going to look at the witness. I guess I'll drop PDA off. Doesn't look like Remy's here. AwSw. You look like a fancy fellow. Excuse me. Can I help you? Do you know where the audio section is? I'm looking for some sheet music. Sorry, I have no idea. I don't even work here. Yeah, why would you think I work here? I'm a human. I'm like one of the 2 humans that are currently in this world right now. Ah, don't worry about it. The staff all seems to be hiding somewhere. Anyways, have a good day. You too. Maybe Remy's somewhere in the back or in his office? Hello? You know, this section is usually for staff only. Oh, hey, Emra. I'm just looking for Remy. I'm supposed to drop off this PDA. Well, he's not working today. Apparently, he has other engagements. If you need to find him, you can probably do so at his home. Can I just leave the PDA here? Oh, I'm not going to take responsibility for this if it gets lost. If you want to drop it off, go find him. Okay. By the way, I hope you don't take it personally that I tried to send you away. Nah, I understand. I get where you're coming from. You're in a rough position. Be honest, I'm glad that you're still here. Remember, I said that I believed you when you told me your side of the story. I always have to do what's in the public's best interest. And now, they will not blame me if you have any connection with Reza. I hope you can understand that. Here's Remy's address in case you need it. Thank you. Oh, it's you. I don't think it's a good time for you to visit right now, though. I just came to give you this. I was already at the library, but Emra refused to let me drop it off there. I see. Oh, it's one of your PDAs. I was really looking forward to this. What are you are you on a date or something? Well, here you go. Thanks for coming by. Enjoy. Thanks for all your help. Now that the facility has received the bandage, maybe we'll discover something new. I'll take care of the remaining tasks, so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have other things to do other than helping the police department. It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation. Alright then, I'll see you next time. See you! Alright, got the rest of the day off. After this fateful day, I was glad to finally have some sort of respite. I wandered into the kitchen as I considered tonight's dinner. Should I cook something or order out? When I returned to the living room, I suddenly found my strength leaving me and I collapsed to the floor. What? Did I just get drugged? Did I eat anything strange recently? Did someone chloroform me? Next thing I saw was a blurry stone ceiling. As my eyesight slowly returned, I managed to sit up. I was in a cave, and before me stood a familiar, mysterious face. Well, he's wearing a mask, so I should muffle my voice a little bit.
I apologize for the violence, but I can assure you it was the easiest way.
Where am I? Is this your hideout?
Just temporary accommodation, so we can be undisturbed for this meeting. Someone else used to live here until recently. Do you know who I am?
Well, you're not Reza.
Good. What did it take for you to figure that out?
Since you're not whispering anymore, I can hear it clearly in your voice. I had a feeling that you couldn't be him since the first time we met, though.
Which first time are you talking about?
The generator in the cellar, when you pushed me.
I see. You can call me the Administrator.
No other humans are supposed to be here, though. I assume that's why you're wearing the mask. You don't want to be recognized.
That is correct.
Whoever you are, you also saved my life.
On more than one occasion.
Your presence here doesn't make any sense. You couldn't have come through the portal. The dragons would have noticed.
This is where you're wrong. My arrival through the portal is what led the dragons to discover it in the first place.
Is that so? So you're the first human to go through the portal?
When I crawled out from the hole in the earth that hid the portal, there were no guards to discover me. My appearance exposed the portal, but the dragons didn't know it was there yet.
So you arrived even before Reza. That makes you the actual first human to come to this world.
That is more true than you might think.
Just who are you then?
I may have arrived through the portal like you, but my story is very different. Before the fall of humanity, I was an engineer. I was part of a team that was formed to create bioweapons. Our task was to create these bioweapons in a country where their development hadn't been regulated or outlawed. These weapons were planned to be a low-cost alternative for poor countries to wage war, so they would no longer have to rely on expensive drones and machines for warfare. I was to set up the lab where our bioweapon development would take place. It was a clandestine operation, set to be in the middle of the wilderness. The laboratory was an independent research and living unit, and provided everything we needed without having to rely on external resources or even external power, or even an existing power grid. Everything was to be teleported right into the middle of nowhere, with no traces or paper trail to follow, so international communities and law enforcement would have no idea of our operations. Our only connection to the outside world after setting up would have been a two-way portal to our headquarters, who would provide everything we needed. While we already could teleport individual people, teleporting a whole building was another matter entirely. Our solution was matter compression technology. Incredibly expensive, but operating in the gray market was also very lucrative.
Wait, gray market? You don't mean black market? Okay.
The technology behind it was much more complicated than even teleportation, despite being based on it. While teleportation works by utilizing black holes with a beginning and an end, compression technology relies on a loop, keeping matter in a sort of limbo state until the loop is broken. Working with black holes was very complicated to begin with, but this shape required much more finesse, and thus was much more expensive. I was to be sent alone to set up the lab and the portal so the rest of the team could arrive safely. In case you didn't know, it's possible to use a portal to send someone to a previously defined endpoint. Therefore, it is not required to have a portal at the destination to be sent there. But, as you can imagine, it's also very dangerous. A single variable off by a fraction could mean the difference between landing safely at your destination and smothering in space. Of course, my employer did not want anything like that to happen. Not necessarily for my own sake, but because of the unfathomable expensive equipment I had with me.
Of course. Money talks, after all.
Regardless, something went wrong anyway. Despite all their checks and safeguards, they could only minimize the risk so much. Even if the risk is a fraction of a fraction, sometimes you're just that unlucky. And sometimes it turns out their bad luck is a blessing in disguise. I arrived safely somewhere in the jungles of Earth, yet it was not the destination that had been planned. I knew something was off, but nevertheless, I set to work immediately. At the very least, I could prepare the building I would have shelter, and then I could begin preparations for our project. Getting the portal into working order would take more time, as it would was a complicated process that could take several weeks. If things had gone wrong as I suspected, I would at least be able to establish connection with headquarters after the portal had been set up, and I would be able to return. While teleporting the lab to the wrong location was certainly a costly mistake, I was still lucky to have my own life. Before long, I discovered the truth about the place I had arrived. While I was still on Earth, it was not the Earth I knew. It was the Earth of 65 million years ago.
Huh.
We knew that by utilizing black holes for teleportation, time travel was a theoretical possibility. It was something even my company didn't dare to attempt, though as teleportation itself was still a very new technology. Yet here I was, 65 million years in the past, with a research station all to myself. The company would reveal in the opportunity to study and profit from all the different life forms I could see. If only they knew about them. I spent the next few weeks setting up the portal as planned, and when I tried to re-establish contact with my employer, I was met with silence. Despite the time discrepancy, the portal could only be, Despite the time discrepancy, the portal should have been able to find my company in the present. For black holes, sending something through time is no different than sending something through space. However, when we built the portals, we gave them a specialized configuration. It was only possible to travel through space by aligning them across the time axis. That meant that I, in the past, would still be able to search for portals in the present to connect with. My counterparts in the present, though, would not be able to find me in the past, even if they tried. But I couldn't find them. Not a single one. Even after checking the portal for its function, I determined that for all intents and purposes, the portals from the company should have been there to connect with. It was then I had a terrible realization. The portals in the present didn't exist anymore, or they were no longer operational. Maybe the blunder of teleporting the lab caused them to reconsider the risks of using this technology. After all, it was already controversial, and had been outlawed in several countries. I wouldn't have been surprised if they had decided to cut their losses, but it was highly unlikely that they would have immediately shut down every single portal and left me stranded without notice. Portal technology was still being relied on in several places in the present. In my mind, only one possibility remained: superweapons. Various nations had been using them as bargaining chips for some time. I didn't think that the threats had become that serious, but one of them must have launched their weapons and destroyed the majority of Earth. It could have been the result of a malfunction, or perhaps the political situation had escalated. Either way, it was not possible for me to establish any means of communication to find out what had really happened. I could have sent myself back to the present with the right coordinates, but this was a risky endeavor, and I also had to ask myself if it was a present I wanted to return to. I was sure that if anything was even left to our world, the aftermath or possible retaliatory strike would take care of the rest. In the end, I had to realize that whichever present did exist was likely not one that was worth returning to. Jesus, fumbling all over myself again. It made my decision all the easier. Instead of returning to a destroyed civilization, I saw an opportunity. Rather than creating bioweapons, I could use the lab to create a new civilization, shaped by my own ideals. I had all the necessary data and the most modern methods and machines at my fingertips. Besides, most of the processes had already been automated. In the end, I used the lab for what it had been created for, fusing human and animal DNA to create beings that were mostly animal, but possessed a greater intelligence that allowed them to learn whatever we wanted them to. As I didn't have any animal samples sent with me when I initially arrived, I collected them from the sources available to me. Automated processes mixed DNA further across samples. New abilities were added like enhanced armor, flight, and spit weapons to make new creatures more effective in combat.
This dude created dragons.
The result was a number of different species, each tailored and optimized to fill a specific role in a war situation. Hormones allowed me to speed up their growth, and with the lab's learned programming, they could be educated in whatever manner I saw fit. My first concern was self-sufficiency. They needed the kind of knowledge that would enable them to come together as their own independent society. Luckily, the AI that automated all the processes in the lab was more than helpful. I unleashed the first generation of my creations, and as their leader, founded our first village. I thought we could really pull it off, and once I saw that they could survive without my guidance, and also govern themselves, I knew my plan was a success. When I realized that this new society would eventually be destroyed, I told myself that I would do anything I could to save it.
Destroyed? What are you talking about? Well, he's 65 million years in the past. Eventually, a meteor is going to come and cause an ice age. He's created a civilization that will be destroyed by time, and then our species will take over because we're in the past.
Haven't you realized where we are? The Chicxulub asteroid is headed for us. With a diameter of over 10 kilometers, its impact will create humongous clouds of dust, throwing the Earth into a literal dark age.
And since dragons are from dinosaurs, it seems, now with humanoid intelligence, they're still cold-blooded, aren't they? Oh.
They will block out the sunlight for over a year, killing off many species and plants that rely on photosynthesis to survive. As a result, animals that eat those plants will also vanish, as will those who sought sustenance from these herbivores. All in all, 75% of all species will vanish, and in terrestrial ecosystems, all animals heavier than a single kilogram will die. That would be 2.2 pounds, in case you didn't know. It will be the end of everyone who lives here, every single dragon you've seen, unless we do something.
We? What am I supposed to do?
Do you not wish to save them?
I came here to help humanity. Now you tell me that this society, this whole world, is also on the brink of extinction?
That is the truth.
What kind of difference could a single person like me even make to save it?
Right now, it's also a single person that presents its greatest threat.
Reza? How?
In order to stop the comet, we will need as much power as possible.
We reclaimed all the generators he stole. Besides, how could a few of them be enough to make a difference for something like this?
Don't forget that Reza's still out there looking for more. The truth is, I don't know if all the generators we could gather would ever be enough. We only require enough power to divert the comet's path during a crucial moment. But even if this plan is possible, we'll need every single generator we can get.
Wait a minute, I just realized the other problem with this. If we're in the past, and we stop the meteor from crashing, then humanity never appears on this planet. Won't all of us cease to exist the moment we save this universe? I mean, the dragons will be here, then dragons will be in the modern time because dragons will have survived and they'll keep evolving on and on and on. because, that's what species do. Yeah, but if I do decide to save them, all humanity dies in our universe, doesn't it? Unless the mammals still evolve, and then dragons are just older than humans, and dragons will have a god complex, probably. Unless we explain the situation that there's time travel will... Oh, ow. Time travel makes everything difficult. So, my goal hasn't changed. I just need to find Reza.
Yes, but you'll need my help, and maybe the help of others. You know that Reza is dangerous, and with his gun, he has a clear advantage. Don't think that he wouldn't hesitate to kill you if you were in his way.
Then what shall we do? Do you know where he is?
No, but I think you'll find him soon, and you can count on my support when that happens.
I see. There's one thing that still doesn't make sense to me, though. The dragons have myths about you, but they don't know or remember you. They haven't seen any humans for who knows how long. How much time could have passed since you created them and now? How many generations could it take to forget? Why isn't there proof of your existence? Yeah, he should be dead for all extents and purposes if multiple generations of dragons are here, unless they have a lifespan that's absolutely minuscule.
I don't know exactly how long it's been myself. When I realized what time period I was in, and that my creation was about to be wiped out in the future, I wanted to go to that future and see what they had become. I disabled the portal's time access safeguards, and thus enabled it to connect with others in different times. This also includes that very same portal in the future. With the generator in our lab being able to supply the portal with power for an indefinite amount of time, I was able to travel to any point in the future I wanted to. The entry and end point of the black hole would have been in the same place and the same portal, with the way traveled being just along the time axis. Since I could now search for connection points in any time period, I could go for my own portal in the future and pinpoint the moment its signal stopped.
Okay, that makes sense. The comet.
Exactly. I found that specific point in time and traveled to a future that was close to that event as I could safely manage. After I arrived here, my escape from the portal's hiding place led to its discovery by the dragons. It and the laboratory were unearthed.
I still don't understand how our portal found yours, or why we ended up arriving at this particular time period.
The portal you found was no doubt one of my company's. There must have been a connection, They must have been connected before, so the corresponding data for the connection already existed when you found it. I'm not sure if that could bypass the anti-time travel safeguards, though. Was it completely operational when you found it?
No, it took a little bit of tinkering.
Probably jumping the hardware safeguards in the process. Now consider that connected portals travel along the time axis together. The data for their beginning and end points are adjusted automatically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to transport anything from one place in the world to another without also sending it through time. Since these two portals must have been connected at some point, the corresponding data for the connection between those two portals already existed. When using the same concepts with changing any of the data, this would mean that despite the time discrepancy between those two portals, time still progressed linearly for them.
I'm not sure I understand.
Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found in my own, and my own, share a connection. However, while the connection is locked to a certain place, which is whatever the portal is at the very moment, it's not connected to a specific point in time. For us, the physical machines that are the portals, time passes linearly, and we can't do anything about that. However, for the black holes, this isn't the case. Just as their entry and endpoints can be in different places, they can also be in different times. In order to not send something through time when we just want to transport something from one portal to another, the portals are anchored together in such a way that time data is automatically synchronized. Essentially, this means that ever since you arrived in this world, the same amount of time has passed for you, has also passed in the place where you came from.
I see. So despite being in different time periods, time still passes linearly on both sides of the portal.
Otherwise, it would not have been possible for you to send messages back and forth to each other. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected not only to a single point in space, but also to a single point in time, thus making proper two-way communication impossible. However, this is only possible through the connection that has already been forged. If we wanted to, we could also use your portal to send you back to your own time period, but to a moment before Razor even arrived here.
But that would mean there would be two of me, right? Wouldn't that cause a time paradox?
I can only tell you that it would work. No one has studied time travel before, though, so if there are any consequences, then I'm not sure of them. Most likely, an entirely new timeline would be created.
Calling bullshit here. People have theoretically studied time travel as much as they fucking wanted to. I mean, it's all theoretical science, but it's still a study.
There would be a timeline without a Draco altogether, and in the new one, there would be two of you.
This is becoming way too complicated.
I apologize. To come back to your original question, I am not sure how much time passes between the time I left my newborn society and now. Since the portal was not designed for time travel, I have no way of knowing how the variables translated to our perceived time. It could have been thousands or even millions of years.
How could the portal or even its power source still be operational after all this time?
The portal receives its power from the generator in the lab. These units were fitted with the absolute best technology we had to offer. It was designed to provide sustainable power completely independently from any already existing network or power lines. It gains energy from many sources: sun rays, Earth's heat, movement, just to name a few. Keep in mind that it had to power a whole laboratory and research station while also providing the energy required for all of its inhabitants and the associated energy expenditures. Taking its power from the Earth itself, a generator like this could continue providing power to the lab indefinitely.
Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single dinosaur since I arrived? Because they're dragons! Are you an idiot, me? Dinosaurs became dragons. It's not that hard a concept to grasp. He said he genetically modified animals that were nearby. What are you, an idiot?
It seems that the Dragon Society expanded over the whole continent. Many still hunt on their own for sustenance, and as such, the original species they were based on have mostly vanished, as in direct competition. Ours proved to be far superior, and my laptop is dying, so I'm going to need to plug that in. Just a moment, please. Also, they've probably taken measures against having big predators roam in their cities and villages. Yet, while the dragon population has increased tremendously, I have found that, by and large, the society as a whole has not changed much.
That's weird. Is that why everything here looks like it was made for humans?
I suppose so. The learning program I initially used gave them knowledge about things and how to create them. Yet, of course, those were only human inventions and designs.
Did they never once stop and think that they should adjust how certain things look? A lot of the furniture and objects I've seen look very impractical for a dragon.
I was surprised by that too. But I have an explanation for this phenomenon. Don't forget that their genome was designed by an AI programmed to make them into effective bioweapons. The idea was to have them indoctrinated at a young age. After reaching adolescence, their learning capacity would be greatly diminished. This resulted in subjects that would stay loyal and be unlikely to change their desired behaviors. Instincts also play a role. I imagine they are very much at odds with their learning behavior. Instincts in animals never change, and instinctual behaviors will always be there. If a given trait has been programmed into their genome as an instinct, it's not very likely to change, even through numerous generations. We can see the results of this here. While I initially made them to learn a certain set of values and knowledge, I have found that the expression of those ideas has hardly changed. After I was gone, each new generation learned from its elders, and much of the initial knowledge and information was retained through all this time. Their genome as a whole did change, however, which was unavoidable over time. If they had been used as bioweapons as intended, they would have been nothing more than an army of identical clones.
That would have sucked.
While I can see subtle changes in their behavior as a result, some traits are still very much present in them. They are content with what they have and don't strive for more.
Which is the opposite of humans who always strive for more.
They don't innovate or change, so technological breakthroughs or new inventions are a rarity. It's quite the opposite, really. They very much value tradition, and their ways which have not changed much in all these years.
Huh. I see. How much time do we even have left to stop the comet?
In a few weeks, the comet will pass the moon, and its gravity field will point the comet's trajectory towards Earth. This is when we will need to be ready. If we strike then, we only need to minimally affect the path in order for the comet to pass Earth safely. It won't be enough time for the inhabitants of this world to prepare if Razor steals our greatest assets.
So it's all about raising the generators, isn't it?
Indeed. By the way, I fixed the portal in case we need to use it.
Whoops. Did you break it to prevent me from being sent away?
No, that wasn't me.
Razor better not use it to escape.
Trust me, the portal is our greatest asset. I have programmed it with emergency coordinates. If you should find yourself in a hopeless situation and feel there's no other way out, go to the portal. I have made sure only you will be able to use them.
I'll keep that in mind. So, what's your plan? What do we do now?
I will resume my work, and you will continue yours. Find Razor.
The administrator turned to leave. Wait! What's with all the secrecy? Why are you still wearing that mask? Why don't we pool our resources together and you show me your hideout? Don't you think it'd be better if you were completely frank with me?
No. Not now.
What if he's me? A second later, the figure had already vanished into the darkness outside. When I followed, I realized that I wasn't sure how to get back to my apartment. Surrounded by trees and the blanket of night, it was hard to make out where I stood. Hoo boy! That sucks. I'm gonna have to explain to people where I was. That's weird. It says my stream health is in the red, but everything appears to be fine. Did something bad happen while I wasn't looking? And now it's back to normal. Okay. I guess at some point there was some sort of lag issue that I didn't notice until now. Huh. Well, anyway. Oh, hold on. There we go, that's better. Back to where we left off. After wandering through the underbrush, I realized that the lights on the horizon had to be coming from the village. I made my way back. I returned to my apartment without much trouble. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to see how much time had passed. Not having anything left to do for the day, I soon fell into a deep slumber. Sorry about that, wanted to take a drink of water. There seems to be nothing for me to do this morning. I guess they don't need me at the police department. Not that I mind. I feel like I should meet with Bryce to explain the situation of what just happened. Once again, I found myself within the police department, which seemed oddly quiet for this time of day. Didn't take long for me to spot Bryce in his office. Hey Draco, what's up? Nothing much, but you told me to contact you if I could remember anything that might help with the investigation. That's right, what do you have for me? Not sure if it's worth mentioning, but I've known Reza for a couple of years, so I know some things about his personality. Really? Really, we're not gonna mention? By the way, I was kidnapped last night by a mysterious masked figure who calls himself the Administrator, and apparently he's the founder of your race. Big information to unload at you at once, by the way. There's a lot of history I gotta go into, like the fact that you were actually in the past your entire civilization, my civilization's in the future, and we're connected by a black hole that loops time. Well, it loops matter, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, there's a meteor coming, by the way, that's gonna destroy us all. If we don't catch Reza in time, the world's gonna die a fiery death. Well, more like a chilling death, because the Ice Age is gonna start murdering all of you, and then humans take over and history just repeats as normal. I mean, that either A, blows mind, B, he'd think I was crazy, C, he'd realize that I was kidnapped and told all this information and go, shit, well, we gotta catch him as soon as possible. I see. Well, that's actually more helpful than you might think. Mannerisms, habits, all kinds of things would be useful to add to his profile and get a better idea of him. You know, I'm just about done here for the day, but if you want to discuss it over beer or something, I'd be more than happy. Let's go. Alright, let's go. Here we are. Seriously, how am I not mentioning anything to him at this moment in time? I know this is the first time we're, like, hanging out, not work-related business, but come on. I just got a massive exposition dump of serious impending doom, and I'm not even gonna mention that I was kidnapped last night? Okay. Here we are. And just in time for happy hour. You come here often? Sometimes. Hey, you two, what can I bring you? Just the usual. One generic beer for the chief of police. Sure thing. How about you, Draco? Me too. Noted. I'll be right back. Good old generico beer. Wasn't long before the waiter returned with a drinking bowl as wide as I was tall, filled to the brim with a foam-topped dark amber liquid. Carefully, he set it down in front of Bryce, who did not hesitate to take a big gulp. He brought one for me as well, provided in a glass that seemed more appropriate for my kind. Yeah, I mean, considering his size, I understand why he gets a bowl worth of this stuff and I just get a glass, because I'm pretty sure drinking all of that would in fact kill me. And also, you know, they're runners who are around the same size as a human, so... There you go. Just call me if you need anything. Of course. So, what is it you wanted to tell me about Reza? There are a few things. I mean, they're probably not much, but anything might help, right? That's right. Anything unusual about him. Anything that defines his character or stands out about him could help us. How about you tell me what you know about him? Well, the earliest memory I have of him was when we both went to the same school. We only shared a few classes, though, and a couple friends. Overall, I'd say he was an above-average student. We didn't talk very often, but he was always very outspoken and never failed to speak up to make his own opinions known. He was the kind of person I'd fully expect to become a politician one day, or at least an activist of some sort. That's the impression I got from him. He spoke a lot, but you could also expect him to act on his word. Of course, his nature caused him to clash with others, sometimes even including the school staff, though his genuine enthusiasm also garnered praise from them. He was quite the character. After we graduated, I didn't hear anything about him for a long time. Only some years later, after we found the portal, was I surprised to find out that he was the human who'd been sent to your world. He had volunteered. It wasn't until I was already here that I actually met him again, however brief our interactions were. But then I already told you everything about what happened prior to the eventual scuffle with Maverick. There's only one thing that stands out to me about those events. In the restaurant, when he told me about the letter, he mentioned that I would know how to read its secret message. I know he values his use of his own intellect, but when I received the letter later, he apparently fully expected me to remember a random chemistry class we had together years ago in order to see the message. I see. So you did not arrange this beforehand? Not at all. I had no idea. It's quite peculiar. I know. I still wonder what he would have told me if Maverick hadn't interfered when we met at the portal. We do as well, and you can believe that. How is Maverick even allowed to intercept his letter and read it? Could have easily done so since he was in charge of Reza and everything, but he totally shouldn't have. I mean, we wouldn't do anything of the sort with you. Everything he has done in regard to Reza has been a poor show of character. I suppose so. In any case, thanks for telling me all this. You never know when this kind of information could be useful. No problem. Just when I thought an awkward silence might set in, Bryce spotted the waiter and didn't hesitate to speak up. Hey waiter, bring me another! Hadn't noticed, but while I was talking, Bryce had been busy sipping his drink, and the empty bowl before him was proof of his proficiency, while I had barely touched my own drink. Here you go. Bryce was just about to start in a second when he suddenly spoke up. You know what? Why don't we have ourselves a drinking contest? I can't win! I mean, you drink bowls of that stuff. I would, but I don't think I can beat someone like you. How about a handicap, then? I'll go easy on you. You're not letting this go, are you? Just having fun. Alright, let's do this. Bryce lowered his snout and gulped down the beer at an inhuman rate. The bowl was drained rapidly and empty in an instant. Fair's fair. Considering they don't have cars, at least I won't have to worry about drinking and driving. The rules are simple. We both get around. Then we wait a few moments until the next one, so the effects can kick in. Whoever gives up first loses. Let's burn some brain cells! Okay. Sounds easy enough. Sure, just wait until you had a swig of the real stuff, then we'll see how easy it is for you. Alright, let's do this. He made a show of looking me in the eyes while he lowered his muzzle into the bowl before he started guzzling and drinking noisily. It was gone in seconds. Certainly, this was going to be tough. My confidence faltered, but there was no turning back now. How did I think I could win a drinking contest against a freaking dragon? Nevertheless, I grasped the drink and put on the best show I could while trying to recreate Bryce's feat. After the first sip, however, I realized it was very different from any other beer I had tried before. Yet I persevered, through the intense taste until the glass was empty. I probably wasn't as impressive as Bryce had been just moments earlier, but I couldn't afford to show any weakness. My plan was cut short, though, as I set down the glass, and an unusually strong aftertaste hit me, causing me to make a face. How do you like it? This is some really strong stuff. Told you. You better know beforehand how much you can take, or you'll hit harder later on. Want to give up already? Shut up. You know what? No, I'm going in balls deep. I don't think I'd do this in real life, but heck no. Give it a go. As you wish. When's the next round starting? Soon enough. You feel it? You feel the buzz kicking in already? Don't lie to me, I can see it in your face. Unless that blushing I see is not the alcohol. It's a buzz. That's what I thought. Anyway, how do you like it so far? Here so far? I mean, compared to wherever it is that you came from. I told you where I came from. It's a shithole. This is better. I'm gonna go with that because that sounds amazing. I'm having a drinking contest with a dragon. How can I not love this? We'll see how much you like it when I've drunk you under the table. Waiter, bring us another round. Coming right up. Here you go. Having ourselves a little contest, are we? You know how it goes. I do. Be careful, Draco. He's a pro. Oh, Jesus, what have I got myself into? That is an interesting name you got there. Did I hear something about a contest? Maybe. Up to your old shenanigans, I see. Now, don't spoil the fun. I don't go around telling people about what you're up to either. Point taken. Enjoy. Of course he wouldn't have challenged me if he wasn't confident he would win. Guess I'll just have to try my best. I went first last time, so it's your turn now. As I put the glass to my lips and started swallowing the dark amber fluid, I was struck by how much more difficult this round was compared to the first. One thing that always puzzled me about seasoned drinkers was the sheer amount of alcohol they could ingest without issue. Keeping it down, however, was a much different question. This contest wasn't about keeping it down. There. Your turn. I see you struggle there for a second. Did I see you struggle there for a second? That's my tactic. I make you think I'm struggling, so you let your guard down. Let's see. Cocky asshole. Realism. I'm gonna be a cocky asshole. Roaring laughter erupted from the dragon as his paw struck the table, rattling the containers resting on it. Keep it up, kiddo. You still stand a chance if you can make me die of laughter. As for my turn, let me demonstrate. Once again, he consumed his drink. Though his swigs were noticeably slower than before, his resolve was also fading. Though not as fast as mine had, as he clearly held the advantage. Was there any way I could still turn this around? There. Now let me ask you a question. I know you wanted to tell me all this stuff about Reza, but was that the only reason you wanted to meet with me? Well, I mean, I wanted to tell you about something completely different, but the game decided no. This was information to keep to myself about the impending doom of society. Maybe having a little fun doesn't hurt, right? Thought so. I won't disagree with that. Waiter, next round! Coming. There you go. Thanks. How are you holding up? Just fine, thanks for asking. If you say so, good luck. Was it your turn or was it my turn? Wait, what? Oh, I must have accidentally rolled the mouse wheel while clicking. It's yours. Alright. By now, it was obvious that Bryce was faltering, though he still was faring much better than I was. Even he had to take a break in the middle of his beer, unable to fumble down it in one go. Now it's yours. Or now, is yours. He was a lot heavier than me, and even though his bowls held far more liquid than my glasses, how did I think I stand a chance against him? When I picked up my glass, I didn't have feeling in my fingers anymore. Oh, Jesus. I had to pause a few times, but in the end I made it, though I wasn't sure how much more I could take. So, what do we do now? Wait for you to throw up so I win? Might as well do that now. You wish. I can see you're close. Just a question of time now, Sonny. Can I ask you a question? What if I told you the world was going to end? Sorry, but that's really heavy on my mind right now. And being drunk probably doesn't help. Go ahead. Why are you brown? Damn it, you don't just ask someone why they're brown. Don't you have, like, different colored people where you come from? Or do they all look like you? You seriously look like a chocolate cream cake. Delicious chocolate cream cake. Can I taste you? Oh, Jesus. Waiter, next round! There you are. Blearily, the dragon looked at me, seemingly unable to focus. I could see he was hitting his limit, but so was I. Maybe if I just held out a little longer. Whose turn is it even? It was his last time, or was it mine last time? I don't remember. I think it's your turn. I think it's yours, though. Very well. At this point, I had difficulties picking up my glass. I was about to give up, but I was sure if I held just one more round, it'd be over. I could still win this. I had to wait a few moments after each sip in order to continue, but did not give up until eventually the glass was empty. Your move, Chief. For the first time, I could see something in his eyes other than his always present confidence. Was it disbelief or insecurity? I guessed my feet caught him off guard, as he seemed genuinely impressed, if nothing else. This showed me that even his own conviction was cracking now. I could totally win this. You're cute. I like you. I really do. But I sure as heck am not gonna let you win. He was struggling. It became more and more obvious as he tried to swallow the liquid in his bowl, bit by bit. He stopped at one point, panting heavily. I considered taking a cheap shot at him, but as he refrained from doing so during my turn, I wasn't going to start now. There. I was getting tired. I could hear Bryce's voice, but I couldn't make out the individual words anymore. Decided to rest my eyes just for a little bit. Knockout! Ding, ding, ding. Are you okay? You fell down. You look kind of messed up. Yeah, I'm good. Good to hear that. Ready for another round, or do you give up? I think I better stop here. I passed out. Who knows what time it is anymore? I think I know what I've had enough, and it's now. Well done, kiddo. Didn't think you had it in you. You know, it was fun watching you and all, but you've both had enough for the evening. I think you better leave now. After you come out from under the table, that is. Alright, I'll be going then. Wait a minute. What is it? Maybe you should go with him, just to make sure he gets home safely, and doesn't do anything stupid, you know? It's kind of an unspoken rule here that whoever is his drinking buddy does so. When I looked over at him, I discovered that Bryce had passed out for a moment. This could prove difficult. Fine. Thank you. Come on, let's get you home. He is still unconscious. I guess water would be the do. I mean, slapping, I don't know if that'd be effective through his scales, and also it's kind of rude, as is that one. I'll do water. This should do the trick. What? Was that you, Draco? Where am I? Still in the bar. Come on, let's get you home. I awoke looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. For a moment, I wondered where I was, before the events of last night all came back to me. As I got up and looked around, I realized that apparently I slept on the floor. Where am I? This isn't my apartment. Oh. I'm gonna assume we just both passed out. Guess I must have passed out after I got Bryce home. Hey, Bryce. Oh yeah, he is, isn't he? You're salivating. Dragon moved and let out a groan before he opened his eyes. Just as you do occasionally, I bet. Damn, my head. Why are you even here? I guess I must have passed out after I escorted you home. Oh right, after our little game. You remember who won? I don't even know, but you stood your ground, and I respect that. You didn't do anything funny while I was out, did you? I mean, if I did, I don't remember it. Dragon rose from the couch with a nice morning stretch, rubbed his eyes, and then held his head high as he let out a grunt and a big yawn. Alright, you know what? I'm sorry. The whole contest thing was a stupid idea, and I shouldn't have suggested it, especially not to you. Well, it's not like you forced me to participate, so I suppose I share some of the blame. Let's just pretend the whole thing never happened. Deal. Wait, what time is it? Damn, I should really get going. I'll be late for work. You know how to get back to your apartment from here, right? I think so. I mean, it's kind of a blur, but I could probably figure it out. I guess you'd be going as well, kiddo. Maybe I'll see you some other time. My whole reason for seeing Bryce was to tell him about the impending doom, and that just never happened. Another free day. Yay me! I'm thinking that Anna's probably busy with the analysis and all the other shit she has to deal with. I doubt she has time for me. So I'm gonna go hang out with the dean. Here we are again. Just a minute! Hope I didn't forget anything. You said something about going to the beach? Yep. Oh, guess who got her entry confirmation for the stunt flying competition? Is it me? You did? That's right. Got it right here in black and white. We are happy to confirm your entry into the annual stunt flying competition. Please have your competitor number ready and show up at the why am I having difficulty with this word? Is it a typo, or is it that I'm fumbling for some reason here? Organisators? I mean, organizers? Is that what they were going for? Organizers? I'm gonna say at the organizers booth at the summer festival by... Well, who cares about the rest? I'm in! That's great. Yeah, but the festival's pretty soon. I have to make the most of the time until then to get my skills up to par. Thought you already had years of experience. Yeah, but now I have to practice the best routine I can possibly come up with. Not to mention make sure I can execute it flawlessly when the time comes. Practicing in general is very different than practicing for an event like this one. I see. Are you ready to see some stunt flying? Sure. Let's go then. Oh, what a lovely beach. So this is where you usually practice? I practice just about anywhere, but today is a nice day for a beach visit. Water and sand are also good surfaces for to practice complicated maneuvers on, in case you can't make the landing. That's true, I mean at least it's soft instead of something hard like concrete. Makes sense. Well, don't let me hold you up. Oh, I can just start practicing right now. I'm still giddy with excitement for getting that letter earlier. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't start practicing right now. I'm still giddy with excitement from getting that letter earlier. Besides, I wanted to hang out with you while we're here as well. Sounds good to me. Do you visit the beach often? Not really, except for practice, that is. It does make for a nice backdrop while I fly, though. I see. Do you ever go to the beach? No, it's not something that was possible for me the last couple of years, but it certainly used to be something other people would do. I love the beach. I see. sunning yourself can be nice sometimes, but I'm not really a fan of going swimming. Well, I'm the complete opposite. I love swimming. I love it with a passion. There's so much more you can do at the beach, though. Like what? You already mentioned sunning, but... fumble. You already mentioned sunning. Do you ever get a tan? Fumble. What's that? I guess that's a no, then. Be fair, you're completely covered in scales, so I imagine you wouldn't be affected. Tanning's a reaction of the skin when it's exposed to sunlight. If humans stay in the sun for a while, our skin gets darker. How strange. And if we're exposed for too long, we can even get what's called a sunburn. And what's that? Well, the skin can take a reddish tint, and it can also be painful and cause dizziness. So you have to be careful not to stay in the sun for too long. Pretty much. Though that isn't necessarily true for all of us. Depending on the skin tone, people can be more or less affected by radiation. I see, that sounds kind of complicated. Does that mean we shouldn't stay here for too long? I'll just have to be careful. I see, just let me know if I need to do anything. Sure, will do. You said you don't like swimming all that much. Why is that? Well, as you can imagine, I prefer the air to the sea, even though we flyers have quite a relationship with the water. Really? What kind of relationship are we talking? Yes, like a steady relationship. What's the deal? We use it to hunt. I see. So you go fishing, but can't swim all that well? Pretty much. We can do enough to safely hunt and paddle on the surface, but that's about it. If we actually want to go swimming, it's recommended we wear a life vest. Is it that bad? Our wings are made for flying, not swimming. The movement and musculature are rather different. With some training, we can learn to swim better, but it wouldn't really be effective. That's fair. I see. Besides, who would choose to learn to swim if we already have the air to ourselves? That's fair. I mean, if I could fly, I'd probably do that more than swimming. Flying is just your thing, I guess. Pretty much. And it sounds as if beaches are a pretty important thing for humans. I wouldn't say important, rather, it's a unique way for people to spend time. It was often done as a leisure activity or a way to spend a holiday vacation. That sounds pretty important to me. What else did you do at the beach? Let me think. I got an idea and started looking for something in the sand on the ground. With a bit of digging, I found a flat, smooth stone and showed it to her. Do you have any idea what I'm going to do with this? Not really. Let me show you something. Went to the edge of the water, followed closely by Adine. Now, watch this. I extended my arm with the best technique I could muster before I threw the stone towards the water. Spinning in the air, the stone bounced on the water's surface a few times before it sunk into the sea. I don't think I've ever really done that well with skipping stones. What was that? Stone skipping. Never heard of it? No! How'd you do that? I can show you. I looked for another suitable stone, and soon found one near the edge of the water. Let's start with the stone. Ideally, we want one that has a big surface area, but as flat as possible. Got it. This one is also really smooth, which helps too. Okay, we need a smooth, flat stone. Now the technique is also pretty important. I'm not sure how well this will translate to your anatomy, but I'll just show you how I do it, and then we can figure out what you can do. Okay. Hold the stone like this, extend your arm, curl it like this, then you have to throw the stone, in such a way that it stays relatively stable in the air, but spins as fast as you can make it. I do it like this. I threw the stone once again, showing her how it subsequently bounces a few times over the water's surface before it sunk into the sea. Not sure if I can do that. We'll see. Maybe we can figure something out. Let's look for a stone first. Okay. We both started looking for another appropriate stone. I saw Dean scratching around the sand with one of her feet. She crouched down to pick something up before she returned to me. Here, how about this one? That should work. See, you've already got that part down. I guess so. Okay, now for the technique. She was holding the stone in the claws at the edge of her wing. I tried to guide her by pulling her wing back like I would an arm, but it became clear that it lacked a lot of maneuverability an arm would have. For the throat, you'll want to move your wing forward as fast as you can, and at the very end of the extent, let go of the stone. I'll try. I could see her moving her wing awkwardly. She pushed it forward before releasing the stone, which sunk without bouncing a single time. That didn't work. Yeah, there wasn't really enough spin on it. Let me try again. Alright. I waded a few steps into the water to retrieve the stone she'd thrown only moments ago. Wow, and I found it? Damn! Well done, GG me. Here you go. Try something different this time. Feel free. Instead of using her wing, she took the stone into one of the dexterous claws on one of her feet as she continued to stand on the other leg. Effortlessly, she pulled her leg back before rapidly moving it forward and releasing the stone. It flew in a bit of an upward arc before it bounced off the water surface once and subsequently sank into the ocean's waters. Nice! Not bad, huh? I had no idea you could do that with your leg. Actually, our legs are what we mainly use to grab things. It only gets complicated if I'm supposed to be moving at the same time, like when I'm waiting at the cafe. Interesting. I suppose for someone who's hunting while flying, that's pretty much a requirement. It is. Actually, if I'm at home and eating chips or something, I usually use my feet as well. I wish I could do that with my feet. I can pick things up with my feet, it's not that hard. Oh, really? Yeah, some monkeys actually can. They basically have hands instead of feet. So they have 4 hands? Yep. That seems like it'd be handy, but I think I like my wings better. Hey, nice pun. That was a neat trick, though. So what else can you do at the beach? I don't know, build sandcastles? I haven't done that in like 2 decades. I tried to imagine what Adine building a sandcastle would look like. Based on what I knew now, she probably wouldn't be using her wings. Would you believe me if I told you we used to have contests for building sandcastles back home? Really? Yeah, people would build huge, detailed sculptures that would be taller than both of us, just with sand. Well, and water, probably. Oh wow, that sounds hard though. It is. To me, it seems a bit of a shame to build big, elaborate sculptures out of something like sand that clearly won't last. I mean, if you're going to spend so much time on it, why not create something that will stay? Yeah, I could see that too. I agree with that. I agree, all that effort only for it to be swept away by the tide or worn down by weather seems wasteful. It's kind of sad if you think about it. Guess we won't be building any sandcastles then. I'm in the mood for a snack. Should I get something for you as well? Yes, please. Alright. You can watch me if you like. Maybe you can learn a thing or two from it. Want to teach me how to fish? Sure, since you taught me the... What was it called again? Stone skipping. Right, since you taught me the stone skipping, I can show you how to fish. Okay. We actually have 2 very different ways of doing it. There's hunting and angling. That was an N, right? Yeah, angling. Personally, I prefer hunting, though. I can see why. Let me demonstrate. She took a few steps back and started running toward the edge of the sea. Rapidly flapping her wings, she jumped into the air at the last second, taking off and flying around the area. I could see her staring at the sea intently, circling a few times before descending toward the water's surface, claws extended. When she got close enough, her claws suddenly sunk into the water, only to reappear with a fish in her grasp. Afterwards, she returned and landed near me. Did you see that? Yeah, but I think my distinct lack of wings would probably prevent me from doing the same thing. Don't have to do the exactly the same thing. In the end, I'm just grabbing them out of the sea. You could do that. not sure if I can do that. I bet it's a lot easier with your claws. Fish can be pretty slippery. I guess you have a point. Well, there's still the other method. Angling? Yep, angling. See my tail? She showed me her tail. At its end, there was a fork in it, with a distinct shape, size, and color. Reminded me a lot of a banana. What about it? This is the bait. She sat down at the edge of the water, letting her tail hang down into it. This can take a while sometimes, but there are techniques which can speed up the process. The right amount of movement attracts different kinds of fish. That way, we can even choose what we're going to get. And that works? Yeah, not all the time, but often enough. Interesting. There are even groups that exchange tips and such for angling this way. Suddenly, I saw her whip her tail upwards, which caused the fish to be launched towards the beach where it landed on the ground with an audible thud. There you go. That didn't take long. It can be very hit and miss. I just got lucky this time. And it's not even the kind of fish I really wanted. I guess that's why you prefer hunting. Yep, you also get the nibble scars on your tail when the fish bites you. I see. Though I suppose angling is also going to be hard for you without a forked tail like we have. Actually, we have fishing rods, and, for that where I come from. What's that? The principle is very similar. Basically, it's a long stick that we hold over the water, and a line connected to it has bait and a hook at the end to catch the fish. When the fish bites the hook, we can reel in the line and get the fish to us. So you're using a tool for a very similar thing. Basically, yes. Sometimes we use fishing. Sometimes we also fish using nets. Oh, some of us do that as well. Not my kind, but usually it's those who either work for a fishing company or sell seafood on the market. I imagine someone like you doesn't have to buy their fish on the market, though. True, but sometimes it's easier just to get them there. Excuse me. Silent burp. Anyway, it's easier to get them there to get what I want, too, instead of coming all the way here. I see. Speaking of which, let me get a few more for later. Feel free. Once more, Adine took to the sky to hunt for fish. While it was interesting to watch her for a bit, she kept hunting for a while, and I started passing the time by collecting some seashells. Phew, that should last me for a while. Oh, what are those? Seashells? Just a souvenir when I get back home. I see. You got some seashells! All that hunting was a good warm-up. I feel ready to start with the practice now. Go ahead, I'll watch from here. Actually, now that I'll be part of an official competition, I need a fancy stage name. Do you have something in mind? Not really. Have you got any ideas? Freefall, Lightning, Neowing, Angel, Stormhawk! I like Stormhawk. Stormhawk? That sounds powerful and dynamic. I like it. You mind if I go with that? Not at all. Then henceforth, I shall be known as Stormhawk. Alright, are you ready to see some aerobatics? I certainly hope so. Start off with a few easy moves. The stage is yours, Stormhawk. Thanks! Effortlessly, she took to the skies, circling around the area a few times before she started to do a few maneuvers. I was hoping they'd show her doing some things. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like a banana, her tail. A roll, followed by a loop, after which she did another roll. It seemed to be less of a practice routine and more like a warm-up to me. Gradually, her maneuvers got more complicated. I saw circles that got smaller and smaller, a brief nosedive, and multiple loops and rolls, one after another. Then she landed and returned to me. What do you think? That was great! You haven't seen the best part yet. What would that be? My very own Adine Special, or rather, Stormhawk Special. It's a routine I came up with, and I've been practicing for a while. It's pretty difficult, so I'll probably spend the rest of my time until the competition perfecting it as much as possible. What does it look like? Starts off with circles near the ground. Then, as I ascend, the circles get smaller and smaller. Once I reach the highest point, I go into a nosedive through the middle of the circles. At the show, I'll use a smoke trail when doing the circles so everyone can actually see me going through the circles I made. Oh, that's cool. That sounds pretty cool. That's not all of it. While nosediving, I do a few rolls, and just before I hit the ground, I pull up again. Lastly, I end with a few loops and go to the next maneuver. It all ends up making a neat shape in the sky with the smoke trails. Sounds like you've got it all figured out already. Yeah, now I only have to perfect my execution of it. Don't let me hold you up. Alright, here we go. With determination in her eyes, she took to the skies once more. She reached a certain height. She slowly descended again, and she was close to the water's surface. Then she started making her circles, slowly ascending as the circles gradually got smaller and smaller. Once her circles became as small as possible, she suddenly turned herself and went into a nosedive. Her speed quickly increased while she moved towards the water. Then she did another roll and another, followed by a third. Dangerously close to the water's surface, she suddenly pulled up, and as she did so, one of her feet went below the surface, where it apparently caught on to something, causing her to spin out of control. Ooh. I saw her feeble attempt to regain control as she barely managed to steady herself enough to get back to the beach. She made a rough landing, rolling onto the ground a few times after colliding with the sand. Adine, are you alright? Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Looked pretty impressive until the landing. Ouch! My wing hurts. Let me take a look. Can you move it? A bit, but it's really starting to hurt if I go further than this. At least it doesn't seem to be broken. Yeah, I guess it's a sprain. Happens all the time. Really? Well, not all the time, but it happens. What about the competition? The injury's going to put a serious damper on my practice schedule, but I'm not giving up anytime soon. I guess practice is over for today at the very least. Yeah, let's head back. Aw. Well, nothing you can really do about it, I guess. I should have some bandages in the cabinet over there. I'll get them for you. What now? Would you do me the honors? Of course, where should I start? I think it's this joint right here. Yep, definitely. Okay, let me try and get this right. Here, that should do it. How does it feel? Much better. Maybe with this I can even start practicing again in a day or two. Just be safe. Of course. Well, thanks for the help with the bandage, and sorry about cutting practice short today. You didn't get to see any proper aerobatics after all. It's no big deal. Your health is more important. Thanks for coming at any rate. You're welcome. Guess I'll leave you to recuperate now. Maybe I'll see you next time. Sure thing. Bye. Oh, hey. Conflict. Chapter 5. I feel like this chapter was shorter than the others, but I could be misremembering, I suppose. Do I usually get 2 chapters done an episode? After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. I think I'm going to end this a little early. I know I normally stream for like 2 hours or so, but I'm actually getting kind of hungry. I didn't eat anything yet today, and I'm kind of starving. So I'll see you guys next time. As per usual, I'm going to be doing the Pokemon Metalock next time I stream, but who knows when I'll have the time to do that. I'll try to get that done as soon as possible. I wish there was music playing, though. Well, let me... whoops. I wanted to hit quick save. Today's the day of the big fireworks festival. Who should I bring? Oh, wait, that was save. How do I do an actual full save? Ah, right, I forgot. Save there. Do I want to look at anything else before I do anything? Let's see, neutral with you. You're good. Why are you staticked. Why are you staticked? That's weird. Scenes played 3, 2. Huh. I don't see a Dean in the list. That's weird. Huh. Well, anyway. As I said, gonna end this here. See you guys next episode.